Um, I want to talk to you what I've discovered about trauma. We all get forms of trauma: rape victims, police officers, life events, animal abuse, death, and not dealing with releasing things. I'm an energy healer. I practice reiki. I'm a teacher and a grand master, but um, what I've discovered, I was doing a journey across Canada. I keep on running into Canadian military. And I had social stress, and sure he died of stroke. I'm just a highly empathic person. I went homeless, and I couldn't stay in the shelters. This is a short story, a synopsis of this. I signed myself into Calgary's psychiatric section. And they knew I didn't need drugs. They needed to get some peace. I'm in there. In the middle of the night, guy comes in. He's Canadian Forces. He was going to kill himself. I'm not going to mention his name because it's private. But um, he wanted to live. And that's the crazy thing about PTSD, soldiers and stuff. And we do not understand post traumatic stress. We don't understand what we're like. I don't know if it's television and we see horror events in person and it gets to us, and it's a soul wound, a spiritual wound in our mind. Well, he was in Sarajevo, artillery, and he was close to committing suicide. He got in there, he called the police, said, "Lock me up here. I want to get away from this. I want to live." Some part of God came in, and, you know, every night I started doing Reiki in that room because, see, as an energy healer, the only way I can heal is heal others. That's the way Reiki works. It's raise the vibration. So I did Reiki while he was there. As he was there, he took his phone and tuned into shamanic drumming and spirit journey. Interesting, isn't it? I never thought of that. And he was listening to it. And as he did it, he'd go into the bathroom, have a little cry, because that's a release. It's a release. And every day, and within 2 weeks, he knew he could go home. And all of a sudden, the space of the clearing. What did I do really? I just manifest the energy. Well, he was shamanic journey. A lot of soldiers don't do that. They go in bars and they get drunk, and or they're on high alert and they stay in their rooms and don't even if they survive. We've got a problem in the United States and Canada, suicidal rates of military. They go and do their part in our services. And the beauty is, I didn't have to hear his story. And a lot of clinicians that are working in helping vets, one said of Calgary, said, "I can't do it anymore." Oh, you can't. I can understand. I heard some horrible cases. I'll tell you one, it was pretty bad. It was Somalia, 1997. He walks into the village and his troop, his men walk in. I'll tell you, I've talked to military officers of Canadian forces. Peacekeeping's the worst. I think trauma has a frustration to it. When you can't do anything, you're going into a country, you're the enemy under the NATO pact. You're the enemy, and you're watching genocide. It's pretty bad. And the first thing I noticed was he told me this story. Oh my Lord. He walks into a village. I remember the Beatles came out with an album and they just took babies apart. Like it was this mannequins. Now with band, well, he saw the real thing. They're all chopped up in bloody pieces, babies. And I listened to the story and my heart just went out. And then I said, did you find God again? Did you find some peace? And he smiled at me. He says, yeah, I went in the living room, my new wife. I heard baby cry. There's God. And we do heal. We do heal. But when we send them out on missions, they come back. Like I was talking to a Canadian. I couldn't believe it. You know, Justin Trudeau, I'm not going to get political here, but the 250,000 is 250,000 drunk. And he wasn't processing. And I thank him for his service. He's a Canadian forces. It's like a divorce. They're career soldiers. And he spent 30 years in the military. That was all he knew. But he's flying those Griffins. Remember the Griffin missions? He's a gunner. He says, hell, that's no problem. He says, look at this. The tracers have come out. Just move my head. I'm firing these short barreled Banshee. And I'm just shooting down into the Afghan Taliban and everything down there. They're firing up at me. Don't bother me. The Griffins are incredible aircraft. They seem to uphold the desert conditions, and they were escorting American troops in and other choppers. And they came in there, and he's just firing down. He says, "You know, there's nothing to get shot. I've been shot at. I was driving a taxi cab." He says, "So you were shot at? Just move your head with the trace." I said, "There ain't no tracers with 12 gauge, Sarge." So I got PTSD, and I'm a psychiatric survivor of a misdiagnosis of PTSD. And I question this. I question how can a psychiatrist with a degree reading a DSM manual diagnose bipolar or call it bipolarity? And I go out to Cape Breton Island. I'm staying at a men's shelter because I was facing emotional abuse after I got well. He had me labeled as bipolar 1. Well, the diagnosis in another province isn't the same. He says they're idiots. He's a clinician, Canadian forces. They're idiots. And I meet military and, oh, bro, you've done your number. This sergeant says, get shot at, nothing. Well, what are you doing now, Sergeant? He says, a process. How you process? Well, I've had 25 years tonight. I guess it's all right. He took him 15 years to process, not Sarajevo, Ethiopia. But he says, so what are you processing if that's not the problem? Sergeant says, it's morale duty. Oh, Bob Hope stuff? No, it's body bags. Putting men into body bags and shipping them out. That's a lot of processing. Well, that's all right. I got 250,000 pay out. I'll just sit here and get drunk every night. Sergeant. It's the same as those drugs you won't take. You know why you don't take them, Sergeant, because they're not getting you anywhere. But you do process. You processed Ethiopia 15 years. So I'm trying to get funds to take an equine assisted therapy course because I'm a horseman. And I'm good with horses, and I've been all over the place, and it's hard to get funds. So I call up there's a lack of compassion for military, police, and everything. I can't believe it. It's just they've never been there, or something with social media, or something's going on. I call him up at a trillion. He's a pencil pushing Bay Street boy that just sits there and says, if he's on here hearing me, this is what I think. You said, who cares about them? They're a bunch of drunks. That's really, whoa. Our military's drunks. They're drunks because you don't care. And I keep on saying, what heals post-traumatic stress? Well, it's the little stages of our citizens saying, sir, I see your uniform. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your duty. Thank you. I'm here in this country because of your duty, U.S. and Canadian. And anywhere in the world, our military are our protectors, and our police are too, and our first responders. There's a zealotry now with the COVID-19 to honor the paramedics. I want to talk about this. And he's wandering around where I was. It's just quiet. I was doing sort of a shamanic. I had a cabin down there. He's telling me another paramedic killed himself. Every day I'm losing him. And I'm wandering around. My head's messed up. I talk to some young paramedics. They face awful, awful, awful things. And the police do too. And they seem like RoboCop, some. But the compassion is to understand where they're coming from. They are being shot at all the time with the fentanyl and the chemical drug addictions and crime. And I'm praying for their safety. You know, they're arming up, and RoboCop doesn't look good, so they're just it's a dilemma with our police force. They've never had to be so militantly armed, and they're always facing it. Now you've got racism and a few bad cops just spread out over the whole system. There's good police out there everywhere. When an officer approaches you, it's time to say, hello, sir, how are you today? Please be safe and go home to your wife. With compassion. Because that's what they're doing. They're trying to protect, but their heads are messed up with amount of armament and fear and everything. They're not our enemies unless we make them our enemies. And they'll be on high alert. Compassion for everyone. Police, military. It's the song of peace. And I don't want to get partisan. I'm not happy with the political systems, but they're not our defenders. They're not our defenders. Our defenders are our safety, our peace. You know, there is fundamental laws, and we got to make sure we can name them, but we're not. We're just starting to let it go. So I'm leaving Canada in a year until the economic crash hits, and it's hitting now. Like this COVID is just part of it. I'm going up to the Himalayas for a while. And I'm going to start traveling and seeing the world again because opportunities left me with the Canada pension, old age pension, and my business is almost running my healing energy work. And I'm going to do this, and I pray for protection in my travels. But I'm not going to live in trauma anymore. I'm putting it aside because it puts a warrior part of me in there. And that's not who I am. I'm not an attacker. And I don't have to fight any more wars. I just pray for peace and love my enemy. And who is my enemy? Myself, my own dukkha, and others that are just blatantly. I get on here and somebody's put some pornography up, I'll have to block that off. But that's just the way it goes. I'm an old guy and I think, wow, he's needy. I'm not needy. For that way, I've got a girlfriend. And I just not needy. But the trauma of blaming everything is up front, and you're always on reaction mode. When you get round fired at you, man, your reaction mode. You're just whoa, and you just want question if they're gonna kill me, why? It's for money, eh? Yeah, drugs and money. They're gonna shoot me for whatever I got. This is happening. It's just one gun over to another gun, and I'm for gun control. I'm sorry, I'm for gun control. Uh, I'm for freedom, but that's not freedom if everybody's got guns. And Justin Trudeau and the NDP curtailed that and put a bill for it. Thank goodness. Because we were getting firearms. But I'm not going to get into political stuff. But, anyways, the trauma is many methods to release trauma. Equine or horse therapy does well, meditation. But we got to break through chordal energies. There's 7 major chakras, there's 49 secondary. And they attach to that. Your resentment, your hate, your fear to that other person. If you're fighting with people, you're going to attach cords. I attach cords when I do healing, and I've got to learn to release it. But sometimes I do a lot of animal healing. And they're little piggies for energy that just I let it go for a while, and it doesn't hurt me, but I ground myself, and to keep the energy. You get attachment in cords, and you got to release them and cut them. And there's a woman coming to me. She had problems. Her son was murdered, and I said, I got to get the cord cut on. You're a devil, she said. I don't want to release it. I don't want to release my son. It's not you're releasing your son. The love is always there, dear. It's the pain that you have to release on top of the pain and suffering, because that doesn't serve you. He's in your heart. But you have to release the pain and the blame and the hate. It's a toxic part of that connection that isn't serving you. And it's like a young woman here. She's being raped. My gosh. But she's giving everything away. She feels worthless. When you take something of a woman, she becomes worthless. But actually, what was taken? What was taken? Her concept of her sexuality was taken. Her concept that her sexuality is hers to give to the man she loves or whoever consensually. But when you rape somebody, it's blatantly stealing. And I send energy and peace for her because she's just out of control. She's on drugs and stuff. And yeah, it's just. I'm sorry, I got to release that feeling too. But it's just I can't take this. It's sometimes I have trouble with the world of people suffering. And that's what he said to me as a clinician for the Canadian Forces. I can't sleep at night. I've been doing it for 15 years, equine assisted therapy on veterans. The stories, sir, are horrible. I know they are. So we're learning a new type of psychology called emotional intelligence for people in the clinician field of healing. But I kept on feeling this gap. The gap of like I talked to a very spiritual man one night about forgiveness. Forgive, 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 forgive. But what's the gap? You got to fill it with something. Well, one of the most beautiful things to fill it is love, or that higher energy, peace, and God entering the Godhead of whatever it is. And find the peace within the gap. The gap is forgiveness. It's not tolerating crime. You know now not to do that or let people do these things to you. But to release it is you're not attached. It's like Victor Hugo. He was came out of Auschwitz with another man. The Allies freed him, and he was walking out the day he was liberated. But the other man said, "I will never forgive those bastards for what they did." Well, he looked back at him and he said, "Then you're still in prison." That's the attachment. It's not that you're wrong; it's just you're still in prison by their evil. And the same with the two monks walking down the road. Remember this? And he's the nun has to cross the river. Well, it's a forbidden thing in Buddhism to touch a nun. Well, he put her on his shoulders and carried her across the river. Well, the other monk is going up the road, and they put him down, left her. He said, "You've broken a precept, a rule, not to touch a nun." He said, "I put her down on the other side of the bank. You're still carrying her." So this is what we do all of the time: is carry these things with us. So I'm just going to end it with that and wish you peace, happiness, good day.